Hello, people of the internet. This is Shaky Jake, and I really need a catchphrase. You are watching Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone on the PlayStation, where previously we were exploring the Hogwarts grounds, did a couple of errands for Hagrid, played Quidditch for the first time, and also encountered some weird, bizarre moments, as ever with this game. The reason I'm starting on this screen is to just show you something that changes when you load up a pre-existing save after a certain point. So if I load my only save, it doesn't take you straight to the game like it normally would. It gives you the option to either play the game as normal, which is what 99% of people who play this game want to do, or play Quidditch. Now I imagine I can only play Quidditch against Hufflepuff at the moment, but that's besides the point. So we're not going to do that. I might explore it at some point, but I don't think you can actually do much with that. So let's play the game. And I'm just going to talk over this because there's one thing I need to do before we get into what we're actually going to do. And annoyingly, when I reload here, it always forces me to take the one chocolate frog, which is quite sad. So we'll leave the other... Actually, you know what? No, we'll take him. So the first thing I need to do is I need to collect my reward for getting all 70 blue Bertie Bott's every flavour beans. So we're going to find Fred and George Weasley outside in the Hogwarts grounds, get what our reward is from the same place, and then we can go and explore the dungeons, because that's the next part of the game. And the dungeons is actually my favourite part of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in this game, because the environments are very ominous, the plot thread is pretty entertaining, and I just like how it progresses. Now, by the time it's finished, I obviously want to be back in Hogwarts properly, as in, I want to be back in the less creepier parts of Hogwarts, but I do like what the dungeons has to offer. And before I started recording tonight, I got a little bit frightened, not because it was actually frightening, but because my headphones, for some reason, every so often, it sounds like there's no sound coming from my left headphone, which I'll explain after I've done this.
Well done. You've got enough blue every flavour beans. Blueberry pie. My favourite. Thanks, Harry. The password for the grounds portrait is Catweasel. Watch out for Snape, Harry. He shows up when you'd least expect him.
Yeah, you tell me this now. I already know, but thank you. Could have told me this earlier. So, I was getting ready to record for this, and I plugged my headphones in, and then I heard like a little pop coming from my left headphone, and then I swear I couldn't hear anything from it, so I don't know if the headphone's actually broken or if it's just something to do with my microphone or whatever. I have no clue. I won't be able to test it until I plug it back into my main amplifier once I'm done recording, but it frightens me a little bit, to be honest, because I don't really need a broken headphone right now. But I can still kind of hear sound out of the left one. It's not like fuzzy or anything. It's not like it's coming in and out. It just sounds very quiet. So, I don't know. I need to look into it. But let's just get this reward before we go to the dungeons.
Catweasel.
Well done, young Gryffindor. That is indeed the correct password. I guess I'll have to open up for you now.
Do I detect a hint of an accent in there? I'm actually turning the volume up on my microphone as well because it's acting as the speaker whilst I'm or the speakers whilst I'm doing this. And there's the Legend of Zelda-esque music playing again for finding a hidden item.
Albus Dumbledore.
Despite what I said last time, I'm actually going to look at the card for this because A, it's part of the plot of the Philosopher's Stone to look at Albus Dumbledore's card, and also because he's such an important character, so he might as well.
Albus Dumbledore, currently headmaster at Hogwarts, considered by many the greatest wizard of modern times. Professor Dumbledore is particularly famous for his defeat of the dark wizard Grindelwald in 1945, for the discovery of the 12 uses of dragon's blood, and his work on alchemy with his partner Nicholas Flamel. Professor Dumbledore enjoys chamber music and 10-pin bowling.
I'm so used to them pronouncing it as Flamel that hearing it as Flammel is actually quite amusing. So I'm going to try and find Newt Scamander as well whilst we're here, because he's also an important character now, and we might as well have a look at him. Oh, skip past him, I didn't mean to do that.
Newt Scamander, 1897 to present. Celebrated author of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
That's all you have to say about Newt Scamander. Okay. So let's exit that. That was not worth it. So the microphone test from the past few recordings I've did with the altered microphone setup, sound quality sounds pretty good to me. I mean, I do need a pop shield at some point, but it does sound pretty good to my ears. It's just I've realised there's a slight problem when I go back to using my keyboard and mouse, because at the moment when I'm playing PlayStation games on here, I'm using an Xbox controller. Yeah, I know, using an Xbox One controller for PlayStation era games shouldn't be done, but it's not so bad with the microphone set up the way it is at the moment, because I can just plug my Xbox controller in, use it no problem. If I want to use a keyboard and mouse, I can't see what I'm pressing. Now, I know my way around a keyboard. I know what I'm pressing when I feel around my keyboard without looking, because of how long I've used computers for. But I can't actually get my arms around the way I've set up my equipment, because again, I'm using a box and a couple of bucks to prop the microphone up to more height level. So it's very unprofessional of me, but that's how I'm currently doing things at the moment. And I have no clue how I'm going to readjust it back for when I use my keyboard and mouse again for actual PC games. So I have no clue. I mean, I could put it on the higher part of my desk, but again, I've still got the problem of it'll be very far away from my mouth, and then I'll be quite, quiet in comparison. So the broom cupboard is still locked. I don't get the point of this room. I don't think it ever opens in the game, like I've said. So let's go to the dungeon. I said dungeons earlier, but apparently it's just the one dungeon. Gotta remember singular versus plural. And as I've said earlier, this is my favourite part of the game.
Let's go and give Snape his missing potion ingredient. We'll be in big trouble if he catches us here. He'll think we're the ones who stole it.
Oh yeah, and turning it in isn't going to make us look guilty. You haven't really thought this through, have you? But again, Snape in this game, as I think I've explained before, is unintentionally hilarious, and we'll see why in a moment.
Then again, maybe I'll just wait here. Snape gives me the willies.
You coward. You utter...
I'll meet you in potions class later, Harry. I'm going to have a look around.
What happened to being noble and giving this to Snape? You utter coward, I hate you. So, as I've explained in the past, Snape in this game makes me laugh more than he should do. In the books, he's petty. In the films, he's petty. In the game, or in this game, he is so petty to the point where it becomes a joke. And it's hard to take him seriously in this game, because he's cancelled a potions lesson for not having one ingredient. He refuses to teach until he gets this ingredient back, and then he's just irritatingly petty for the sake of being petty. It's absolutely wonderful, but also stupid at the same time. It's almost fan fiction levels worth of writing. But let's see what he has to say. Right, Snape?
Potter has found the sloth brain. Was it clever hunting or a thief's guilty conscience? So where was it, Potter? Within your own head? Bring it to class.
Damn. And blame Ron. He was the one who wanted to return it to you. I just wanted to carry on with my life as normal, but no, Ron had to be all noble. And we have to watch Snape walk down this corridor for some reason just to prove how evil he is. We can carry on. He then walks through a door. We follow him to another part of the dungeon. I still think they should say dungeons, but whatever. And I think we get straight into the potions class. I think. I might be wrong. It's the only class that actually differs. No, we don't. Okay. Bloody hell, this room. Could you imagine walking along this to go to a lesson every single day of the week? This would be terrifying. You've got bats flying around, you've got dripping water, you've got basically a horrible looking place. And are these bats on a loop? I think they are, you know. I'm going to wait a couple of seconds, see if they come back. Yep, they're definitely on a loop. These two bats just endlessly flying forever and ever and ever into the same cliff. Yep. Oh wait, no, is there an actual hole? I think, no, there's an actual hole, okay. So, we can't get up here yet. That's for later on. So let's just carry on and head into the portrait room, which you don't need to look for this time because the portrait room is this room. So if you're ever doing all of the stuff for Fred and George, this is the one you can't miss whatsoever. So here they are. Are they going to tell me that Snape is still creepy again? Let's have a see.
Heading for potions class, Harry. Don't be late. Snape's a royal pain. He's always looking for an excuse to take house points away from Gryffindor. We need green every flavour beans for our next experiment. You know, the troll bogey ones. Bring us the beans, and we'll give you the password for the portrait.
Yes, lads, I know how this deal goes. And there's the portrait. See, you can't miss this one. I don't think the developers even bothered to really try. They just sort of said, well, we've got to add another side quest for Fred and George. Where should we put the portrait room? Oh, we've got no other assets to make another room. Just sling it in the place where Fred and George are. You have a great idea. Let's do that. You'd think they'd do this with the first portrait in the game, but no, they leave it for the third one, which should be the second hardest to complete because you have to get 80 of them. You'd think they'd make this more hidden, but whatever. And that's the other thing. You'll notice as well that every time you've collected the beans for Fred and George, you'll see different indicators lit up. So you've got what's complete and what isn't. But then you've also got these flashing lights to say what you've got. And I've also got a Nimbus 2000 indicator. But surprisingly, there isn't an Albus Dumbledore indicator. But whatever. So let's carry on. And listening to my headphones right now, I'm struggling to hear any sound from my left headphone. So I am a bit concerned that it's actually broke, which would be rather annoying. So here we've got quite a lot of creepiness going on. Can't remember which way to go. What is up here actually? Oh, there's Hermione, so granted, that will probably mean that's the way to go, but I want to see what else this place has to offer. So we've got Defense Against the Dark Arts, which we can't go to yet. Fair enough. And I don't want to go down here just yet because I'm pretty sure you can't go there properly until you've been to potions. But, you know, we might as well check. At least there's no loading screen. Hello.
Professor Quirrell placed these platforms to test his students, but I can't figure out how to get at them. I think I need to attend the Defense Against the Dark Arts class before I can stand on them.
Well, yeah, you should have gone to class, shouldn't you? And I'm going to assume this is, as a fellow Gryffindor, I'm assuming this is Parvati Patil. I'm going to assume that's her. But she sounds like a 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid doing the voice acting, which I find slightly unintentional, slightly hilarious, because that shouldn't be the case. But anyway, Hermione, how are you doing?
At last, Harry! I have an idea where the stolen object from Gringotts may be. But we'll have to attend Potions class first. Come on, Harry. We don't want to keep Snape waiting.
I do. He's got an unhealthy grudge against me, even more than the usual canon. So, potions. Let's go. This door is amazingly big. It looks bigger than most doors in this game. This is the only class in the game that operates differently.
To mix a Wiggenweld potion,
what? Why me?
Activate the cauldron.
What about the other students? Why aren't you telling them to pay
Press the
attention?
3 symbols indicated until the cauldron fills. If you manage to fill your cauldron, which I doubt, you'll be able to activate the cauldron to retrieve the potion. Your turn, Potter.
Now, this is actually the easiest thing to complete when it comes to the classes, and it's the only one that operates slightly differently. And apparently the only students who attend this class are me, Ron and Hermione. and Malfoy, Crabbe and Goyle. So you could do this extremely quickly. I'm not even going to bother reading the instructions. I don't know what happens if you fail. I assume Snape just takes points away from you, or basically says you're terrible at potions. I'm not sure. But I don't know, I just find it quite amusing to play through.
Good enough. Only a fool would expect better. Potter, I've never seen such pathetic work.
Jesus
You
Christ!
fetched the jar of fireflies from the adjoining room.
Even by Snape levels, this is pathetic. Oh, and this bit here. This bit always frightened me when I first played it. So, here's who I thought... When I was a kid, as I've said before, I thought this was Malfoy. It's obviously not Malfoy, because he's in the potions lesson, but I always kind of like the idea that that was Malfoy dressing up and looking serious. But we know who it is, really. We know who's under that cloak. And there we go. What should have been a simple fetch and retrieve something for Snape has now become a long-winded side quest. Or, well, actually, it's a main quest because we're forced to do it. So yeah, remember this part of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in the book or the film? Because I don't. And we've got mini trolls here. And I think, yeah, this is our literal introduction to trolls. So you remember there was a bit of foreshadowing for this earlier. We'll pick you up because we're not going to do anything better. We had a bit of foreshadowing for this in the last part. So what you got to do is wait for the troll to stand on the grating and then throw the Puffskein or whatever, not Puffskein, whatever that thing I've just thrown is called. I can't remember what happens if you don't throw it at the if you don't throw it when they're standing on the thing. So I think I've missed. No, I haven't. Okay. Oh yeah, I did actually miss. Okay. I can't remember what happens if you get in close range of them. I think some actual terrifying music plays if you do get close to them. You know what? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see what happens. Okay, no, no terrifying music for these guys then, just running at you and taking some health off. I did that in the name of curiosity. So these trolls, you had this foreshadowed earlier in the game. You basically have to wait until they're standing on the metal grating and then you throw it. And I'm pretty sure if you run to it whilst it's moving, you can get hurt. Which I didn't demonstrate very well then. But I'm pretty sure you can actually take damage if you get here at the specific time and you get there in time to actually get hurt. So we'll carry on to the bottom of the well. Oh, and I think...
Harry! It's me, Raymond! Can you see my kitten? I hear her down there meowing.
Yeah, that's kind of what cats do. And you could just blatantly ignore him and go, no, not going to rescue your kitten, sorry. But we're Harry Potter, we're noble, we're the chosen one. We're the rescuer of cats, so we're going to do it. Oh yeah, and here's some ominous music for this side quest, which is interesting to say the least. Jeremy Soul's masterful scores playing here. Oh yeah, I forgot about these rats. Oh, we brutally murdered that rat. Damn. Okay, so there's a lot of boxes here. Oh, there's the kitten already, okay. I can't remember if it's randomised or not. I don't think it is, but I could be wrong. So let's just kill you. The kitten won't do it for us, despite being a natural predator for these guys. In fact, this kitten is ridiculously small. And apparently has no collision detection either. So if we run along, the kitten's actually quite good at following us. I think we can actually run all the way to the end and it will follow us with no problems. I'm just going to try this theory, just to double check. Yeah, the pathfinding for this kitten's actually not too bad. So we're going to go back to Raymond and return his cat because he couldn't be bothered to come down here and get him himself apparently, and he couldn't use magic to get it either. Now the question is, how did this cat end up in a box? Presumably it must have climbed in, because I doubt somebody would have trapped it in there. but who knows. I just love how this ominous music is playing for a little side questy area, and then it's just stopped dead. Okay. Oh, it's looping again. Fine. Right, Raymond, I found your cat. Are you going to use magic to levitate it, or is that my job? Oh, look, it's my job. Of course it is. Okay.
Wingardium Leviosa!
Here's your sodding cat.
Thanks, Harry. Here's a famous witches and wizards card for you.
Oh, you're talking my language again, Raymond. Thanks very much. Who have you given me? Better not be a duplicate.
Edgar Struber.
Nah, it's one for the collection, I guess. Thanks very much. Don't think we'll ever see you again. Not quite sure what character you're meant to be. I don't think there's a Raymond normally in the books. Or if there is, I must have passed it somehow. I was talking about... Oh, there's the cauldron room. And there's a lever here that we have to use. And then there's a locked room here. Troll bedroom. And that is some obnoxious snoring. Okay, so we have to pull this. I wonder if anyone's grown concerned at how long it's taken us to go and get something for Snape. You know. What should have been like a minute, 2-minute job has ended up being about 10 minutes. We basically need to get up here. Yeah, we basically need to get up there, but we need to do a bit of questy stuff. So, let's climb up here. And again, this bit's not in the Harry Potter book or the film, as in it's not in the Philosopher's Stone or the it's not in the Philosopher's Stone book, it's not in the Philosopher's Stone film. So, we're just doing this for the sake of, because it's in the game and it pads the game out. Oh, we can actually go back in the area we were just at, but we're going to the cauldron room because that's where we're tasked to go. Fortunately, this game is pretty simple and it's in how it's structured. And, oh yeah, this can be a bit of a pain if you're not organised. It is possible to die here, but if you fall in, you don't actually die. The developers weren't that harsh. They just made it so you lost a bit of health if you mistimed the jumps or anything. Hopefully I'm not going to fail at this, because that would be embarrassing on my part. Oh, I almost overshot that. That was actually quite terrifying. Yay, I completed it, and the music celebrated me for it. I do like how the soundtrack is used in this game, I won't lie. It is actually used correctly, and it's used very sparingly, but it's used in a very positive way. And I love how we're getting generous house points again. So let's... Thankfully we can take a shortcut to get back, and I'm hugging the wall for some reason, so let's not do that. And I didn't take any damage off that light, which is good. And I think... Yeah, we have to go in the troll bedroom now. This can actually be quite a dangerous area if you're not careful. They see me trolling, they rollin'. Can't remember what song that is, but you could adapt it for trolling purposes, because we're trolling in the dungeon. I can't remember if you're penalised for making too much noise if you're running, so I'm just going to walk it just in case. And also because it would make sense for us to move slower. Oh, this might be the troll that has horrific music play if you're too loud. And I think if you go up close to the troll as well, he automatically wakes up and tries to kill you. So we need to do the following. And here's a nice bit of attention to detail when you use Wingardium Leviosa on this specific bit.
Wingardium Leviosa.
The voice actor for Harry actually whispers the spell. It's a very tiny thing, but it's a nice bit of attention to detail. And there we go, we're fine. So if we grab the key... And this troll's bedroom It's bigger than the cupboard under the stairs. I mean, Harry got screwed over for the first 10 years of his life, having to sleep in the cupboard under the stairs, and this troll has his own ensuite. It's absolutely insane. So there's a lever here that we need to pull, and that should open something up. Okay, no, it just levitates that last platform. Okay, so you do have to do both parts there, otherwise you can't get out. But now that we've done that, we can go back, and I think this is the last part of the fetch quest we need to do. Yeah, this wasn't the errand I wanted to run when Snape asked me to do something. To the Firefly room. Okay, and I think that's a unique door. It just has a troll face on it. I don't think there's any other doors like it. Okay, we've still got a bit more to do apparently. Right, I'm going to run. And hopefully these guys don't try and chase me down. Bit interesting how the getting to class music is playing at this time. Because I would have thought that would have been exclusive to just getting to classes, but apparently not. And I didn't talk about it much in the last part, but I briefly talked about my views on the Harry Potter books and the Harry Potter films, and then Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I'll expand a little bit more on that. So, the way I started off with Harry Potter was many years ago, and it was around the time that the first 4 books were out. So it was just Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Now I can't remember if the Goblet of Fire had just been released or if it had been out for a couple of months, but either way, the Goblet of Fire was the latest book. And I tried to start off with the Goblet of Fire as an audio book, and this was back on cassette, which is just showing how old I am. But I listened to the first few sides and I wasn't really getting into it. And I think I got to about Hogwartsy kind of area, so the cassette got to Hogwarts and then it sort of died, and it wasn't a tape I owned. I think I borrowed it from our nearest library at the time. And here's the thing we need to get for Snape. So the tape died, which was a bit unfortunate because that's what happened with cassettes, unfortunately. So we returned it, and then I didn't really pay much attention to Harry Potter again until I tried out Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban for the first time.
I wasn't expecting you back so soon. Give me those fireflies.
Please. Magic word. No pun intended.
Now leave me in peace, Potter. Your defense against the dark arts class with Professor Quirrell is about to start, and you're already late.
Man, if you were being graded in an observation right now, you'd have a grade 4 for how you treat your students. That is absolutely insane. Okay, yeah, these doors are actually unique. I'm pretty sure. I don't think any of the other classes have actual textures on them. For the classes, I mean. So we got to go to Defense Against the Dark Arts, which isn't a problem. And even though Snape says, "You're late, Potter," we're actually not, because we still get to run under the usual constraints that have been set. So what I like to do here is wait for the books to do their thing. Try and... Oh, we fell off. That's a shame. And I think there's 2 rooms here that we have to beat in order to get everything we need to. So what I'm going to do here is try and get what we can. Can I get on this? Just about. No. Oh man, okay. Yep, platforming's letting me down today. It would actually be quite embarrassing if I was late for Defense Against the Dark Arts. Come on. Yeah. Oh, just in time, good. And the books don't try and... Oh, they do once I leave. Fine. So, we're just doing that just to get these. Alright, come on, I need the books back. Can you... Thank you. Okay, so... It makes you wonder, actually, how does Neville Longbottom get to these classes? Because you think he'd struggle with all this. Okay, so wait for these books to fly over. This room's actually easier than the first, if I remember correctly. So I need to stop saying if I remember correctly, because I'm pretty sure I've said that so many times over the past few weeks. It's almost becoming a bit of a catchphrase at this point. And then I have to change my whole introduction to be like, hello, people of the internet, this is Shaky Jake, and if I remember correctly... And we're actually running out of time, which isn't good. But with the Harry Potter books, I read them out of order. So I started with... Well, you know, with the audio books, I should say. The other book should fly over, yes. I started with The Goblet of Fire, but didn't finish it all. And then I moved on to The Prisoner of Azkaban. You know what, I'm going to make Krill wait. Started with the Screw. We'll just talk to him now.
Welcome, young Mr. Potter, to Defense Against Dark Arts. You're just in time.
Bullshit, you saw me.
Gather round, class.
Yes, all 6 of you gather around.
This is your Defense Against the Dark Arts lesson. You may begin, Harry.
Why does everyone always pick on me?
Powerful spell.
Pick on somebody else.
Get ready.
Okay, this might actually be a bit quicker than the other ones.
That was good. Excellent.
I love how everyone always says the same 3 lines over and over again. That was good. Excellent. Perfect.
Concentration, please. It's going to get difficult.
It probably will, actually.
That was good. Excellent. Perfect.
Good. Are we done now?
Watch out for this one.
Oh, we're not. Okay, which one is this starter? Oh, that is such an easy one to mess up.
That was good.
Game, you tried to screw me over there.
Excellent. Perfect.
I suppose it makes sense with Defense Against the Dark Arts being one of the hardest subjects to learn.
Now enter the chamber one at a time to practice the Verdimillious spell.
I wish I could do a convincing stutter without me actually naturally stuttering, because this would be funny.
Now, Harry, let's see how you defend yourself against the dark arts. First, cast your Verdimillious spell toward the darkness. Observe how the Verdimillious spell flares, forcing back the darkness, lighting the path across. Follow the path quickly, as your spell will only hold off the darkness for a brief time. Good luck, young wizard.
I love how he was questioning though. He was like, good luck, oh yeah, young wizard, that's what you are. I do love how, and I've only just realised this, Krill doesn't stutter at the Verdimillious spell, but he stutters at literally everything else. I can't remember if he's like that in the books and the films as well, with spells, but I would assume he would be. But that's quite a nice touch if that's always been the case, and I've only just cottoned onto this years later.
Verdimillious!
Okay, this spell is actually quite useful. You don't have to do much with it, but you are on a time limit, so just jump over.
Impressive. 5 points to Gryffindor.
Yes, I feel like I've earned those. Can I come back? Yes, I can, but we don't want to. So let's go.
Harry, I've been waiting for ages. Do you remember?
No, you
Dumbledore
haven't.
said that the upper castle is out of bounds to all students. That must be where the stolen object is. Let's split up and look for a way up there. Good luck, Harry.
Yeah, I'm sure the door will be open for us soon, because this game operates on a linear structure. Alright then, we can now go and explore this room. And here we go. Yep, there's nothing down here, so we just need to activate the spell. Climb this, please. Thank you. I am noticing as well, sitting like this, I'm causing myself a bad back slightly, because I'm usually used to like lying back in my chair whilst I'm recording, but because of the microphone situation, I'm trying to sit more upright. And I got that just in time, so we need to activate that again. I lost some health, but Not a problem. We'll just eat another chocolate frog and get that back. And because I read, well, I say read, I had the audio book for it on cassette. So I listened to part of the Goblet of Fire, and I didn't really get much into it. And then a couple of months later, I ended up with Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This time as an actual, something I actually owned, as opposed to. Have I gone the right way? I can't remember if this is the right way or not. Okay, probably not, because it's not indicating a room of importance. And I had The Prisoner of Azkaban. Instead of it being from the library, I actually owned it. And I listened to the whole thing, and I really enjoyed it. And
Hello, this is I've got a bit of fun for you.
This is one of the three Nearly Headless Nick quests again.
Onto the heated grills. If you get them stuck in a corner, come and see me. Good luck.
This happens quite a lot. So this is the super easy one, is it? I believe it's the super easy one. Yep, this is the really easy one. So all you have to do is just get these cauldrons over here. Oh yeah, you don't even have to hold the spell either, which is useful. And I listened to The Prisoner of Azkaban audiobook, again on cassette, and I really enjoyed it. And I still enjoy The Prisoner of Azkaban to this day. Then I went back, listened to The Chamber of Secrets, and then listened to The Philosopher's Stone, which is a bit of an odd order to listen to them in.
Here's a famous witches and wizards card for your efforts.
So for years, and I still have them on cassette lying around somewhere, I have the first 3 Harry Potter books.
Bowman Wright.
Yeah, don't care. I have the first 3 Harry Potter books as audiobooks on cassette. And they're all narrated by Stephen Fry. Didn't get the Goblet of Fire one, unfortunately. But what does it matter anyway, because I eventually bought them all on CD anyway. Because, you know, when you listen to tapes after so many times, they start to die out and various other things. And I remember I was still listening to the cassettes of the Harry Potter books, the first 3 I had, up until about the mid-2000s.
Hello, Harry. I've got a bit of fun for you.
I know, we just played through it.
Within the time limit, use your knockback jinx to push the cauldrons onto the heated grills. If you get them stuck in a corner, come and see me. Good luck.
It is actually easy to get them stuck if you're not paying attention. And is this the medium difficulty one? Oh yeah, it's a bit harder because they move a lot slower. Can I still use an uncharged Flipendo? Yes, I can. I just realised as well, Flipendo sounds like if you were making a spell, that sounded a bit like you were flipping somebody off. I don't know, I'm thinking of really weird things tonight. So let's just get this in where we need it to be. Yeah, I'm actually going to move that to the side, just in case. And I'm standing in the wrong place for it to move. There we go. Okay. I do love how the developers... Oh, balls. Have I screwed that up? I think I may have actually screwed this up. Yeah. Nick, I need you to reset the cauldrons because I wasn't paying attention. Told you it was easy to mess this up. Yo, Nick.
Oh dear. Shall I reset the cauldrons for you, Harry?
That would be lovely.
Hello, Harry.
Yeah, we know. Let's just... We're not... I mean, we're stupid, but we're not that stupid. We don't need to be reminded about what we've done 1 and a bit times now. Okay, so let's do this again. Gives me a chance to talk more about Harry Potter audiobooks. So, it was a bit weird experiencing the first 4 Harry Potter... What the hell am I saying? It was weird experiencing the Harry Potter books in reverse order from 4 to 1. And because every Harry Potter book had this little tradition of briefly referencing what happened in the previous book, usually around chapter 1, chapter 2, or basically it was around the first few chapters. And because of that, I'd always hear stuff that Harry, Ron and Hermione had done, but I didn't actually know the context behind it until I went back to the previous book, and then I would go, ah, that's what they were talking about. And it was a very interesting way to Are you serious? I can't do it that way? Okay, I've got to reset them again. Oh, I'm not doing this on purpose, I swear. No wonder I moved it to the right last time.
Oh dear. Shall I reset the cauldrons for you, Harry?
No, I just came up here for a laugh.
If you get them.
But it was nice hearing the series in a reverse order at the time, but I wouldn't do it now because it would be very weird. And I get on people's cases occasionally. In my head, obviously. I don't go on like forums and tell people, oh, you're wrong for doing this. But when people play... When people admit they played the Knights of the Old Republic games in reverse order, so they said, oh, I started with Knights of the Old Republic 2 and then I played Knights of the Old Republic 1. And in my mind I'd be thinking, how on earth could you possibly do that with a game like Knights of the Old Republic? Because the sequel basically references the plot twist of the first game. And then they're like, oh, but it benefits the narrative so much more for me. I'm there thinking, how? That's the first game pretty much entirely spoiled. But whatever. So there we go, that's the puzzle pretty much done. But at the time it was a good way to experience the Harry Potter series, and because of that, that's why I consider the Stephen Fry audiobooks to be my preferred way of experiencing the series.
Well done, Harry. You've pushed all the cauldrons into their correct places. Here's a famous witches and wizards card for your efforts.
I've never listened to the Jim Dale versions of the audiobooks though, so I don't know how good or bad Jim Dale is in comparison. I'm assuming he's still really good though.
Cassandra Verblatsky.
Yeah, I don't care about her. Maybe I'll have to try and see if I can listen to the Jim Dale versions at some point, just for comparison's sake, because I know there are people who debate about whether Stephen Fry or Jim Dale is the superior Harry Potter narrator. I get the impression it's probably Stephen Fry, but that might be my bias talking. And also because I know more about Stephen Fry's career than Jim Dale's, but even though both are British institutions at this point, as actors. What? Did something just happen there? I swear I just sort of clipped through that. Can I do that again? No, maybe not. Maybe I wasn't imagining it. No, I believe this is the last time we have a... Hello, Harry, I've got a bit of fun for you. I hope, anyway. I hope it's the last one.
Hello, Harry. I've got a bit of fun for you.
Really?
Within the time limit,
Yeah, shut up. We know how this works. Oh, and this is the super hard one now. So they move even slower. Come on. Fortunately, we don't have to use charged up ones every single time. Shoot this down. Shame we can't move them any quicker. I probably shouldn't have done that. Okay, no. Got it. Okay, just move this up. I think there's multiple ways you can do this one, but I'm just going to do it this way because I can. But after the first 4 Harry Potter books, I basically read 5, 6 and 7 in order, so don't worry, I did go back to being a traditionalist at that point. And then the films came out around the time the first 4 books were out, and I loved the Philosopher's Stone film, I loved the Chamber of Secrets film, and I loved the Prisoner of Azkaban film. It all went downhill with the Goblet of Fire. Got briefly restored with the Order of the Phoenix, then the Half-Blood Prince completely destroyed it for me, as I've talked about before.
Harry. You've pushed all the cauldrons into their correct places. Well,
I technically didn't push them, I used magic to push them, but anyway. Who's this now? Who am I getting now?
Godric Gryffindor.
Oh yeah, heard about him. Okay, we'll look at him at the end of the game, like everyone else. That means we got Gryffindor and Slytherin. We just need Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw, I believe. I didn't see him when I looked in the book anyway. And yeah, it's really impractical just jumping off everything. Harry, can you not do that? See, because of that, you lost health. Well done. Now I need to get you a chocolate frog. But yeah, with the Half-Blood Prince film, yeah, I can't go back through here. When I watched the Half-Blood Prince film, that was the one time I thought, way to take a great book and completely ruin it as a film. And it really annoyed me, because the book was so great, to me at least, and the film just completely misunderstood how good the book was. And then we did go the right way, because that was the side questy area, so that's good. Always want to do that. And when I watched the Half-Blood Prince film, as I said in the previous part, and I've screwed this up royally, so we're going to have to do this again most likely, I hated it. I hated the Half-Blood Prince film. I thought it was an insult to a really good book. Basically cut out the best bits of that book. I didn't really care that much that the Goblet of Fire film was bad, because the Goblet of Fire book I think's overrated anyway. It's the weakest of the first 4 books, I think. And then the Deathly Hallows, as I said, I still haven't seen the Deathly Hallows films, apart from a few bits here and there. And I don't particularly care to. And with the Fantastic Beasts films, again, I don't care to see them either. Oh, we can mix a potion here, that's fun. So we can do this in order to get health back. We'll just do it for the sake of it. So we'll use Snape's teaching to give us health. Oh, I actually got it wrong. Oh yeah, I'm getting it wrong because I'm deliberately pressing the wrong buttons, apparently. Okay, so we'll drink this. Probably a bit of a waste. And then Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I've already explained this story about how I went to Waterstones, bought a copy, got it fairly early on. Then I read it. Then I hated it. And
why, it's Potty Wee Potter! I'm pleased, Potter, and you better watch out for me.
okay.
Young Potter, you're ugly, but what can we do?
Plastic surgery.
Everyone says you belong in a zoo.
True.
If you look in a mirror, it surely will crack.
Bit harsh.
The best thing to do is wear a nice sack.
Okay, this is the area we actually have to go, but before we come here, I need to go back and talk to Nearly Headless Nick, because you guys don't know what we're doing at the moment, do you? So let's just talk to Nearly Headless Nick again. He's gone from being the side questy dude back to being the main questy dude. What does he have to say here?
Someone has been casting spells of the dark arts, Harry. It's all very peculiar, I must say. The exit to the dungeons is blocked by a horrendous set of curses. Dark arts magic, I'm sure. There are 4 curses, and each must be dispelled before the door will unlock. The actual curses are hidden around the dungeon. Once found, use your knockback jinx to dispel them.
Okay, I'm convinced that Nearly Headless Nick is our actual mentor in this game. He seems to be teaching us more magic than the teachers of this school combined. Yes, and naturally, if you walk into these guys, you lose health. But one thing I've just noticed that's quite interesting, the padlock seems to be in the middle of the door. I can't remember if that normally happens. I don't think it does. Anyway, so we need to go and we need to destroy these eyeballs. So if you don't like eyes, you're not going to like this part of the game, because you get to see these eyeballs get bigger and explode. It's not a pretty sight. Fortunately, there's no blood, so you don't have to worry about that. No eye popping, apart from just briefly exploding with no blood. How many beans have we got? Oh, we got over half, so that's not too bad. I can't recall if the game gets a bit harsher with how many beans there are available, so it might be that there's only 80 of these as opposed to, 90 or something that you could feasibly collect. Come on, Harry, climb. Thank you. Controls occasionally slip up every so often. And Peeves. You don't really hear much about Peeves, and I can't remember which way I'm supposed to go. Let me just double check. Right. I'm going to assume the door was the way we... Yeah, let's go through the door first and see what happens. Peeves was a character who didn't make a transition to the film, sadly, because he was one of those characters that existed in the books and was quite prominent within the books. And then he was cast for the first film. So he was cast for the Philosopher's Stone film with Rick Mayall. Great actor, great comedian, sadly died, very, younger than he should have done. So anyone who knows The Young Ones or Bottom will know who Rick Mayall is. And because Rick Mayall was cast as Peeves, which I think is pitch perfect casting, by the way, it was a shame we never got to see him in the actual film. Hang on, here's one of them. And yeah, we need to charge this up. And there we go, one of them's exploded into a puff of smoke. And yeah, you can die here. I don't know why the developers thought, oh, let's put a hole here for people to lose some health in if they want to. But yeah. And what's down here? I can't remember. I've literally forgotten all the different ways you can go in this game. So supposedly there is footage of Rick Mayall as Peeves, but nobody's ever seen it. I don't think it's ever been officially released, and it's really unfortunate that that's the case, because I would love to see it. And I think it would be one of the best bits of casting in the entire series, alongside Dame Maggie Smith, Robbie Coltrane, Alan Rickman. Basically, those three plus Rick Mayall sound like the most appropriate casting the series ever had. Suppose you could add John Cleese in there for Nearly Headless Nick as well, but we don't really know. Oh, and David Bradley as Argus Filch. I was about to say Albus Filch, which would be completely insensitive to both characters. But yeah, so to me, those were the most successful parts of the casting choices in the Harry Potter films. I can take or leave everybody else for the most part. I don't mind. How have I forgotten his name? Richard Griffiths. I don't mind Richard Griffiths as Vernon Dursley, and I don't mind Jim Broadbent as Slughorn, but they don't make too much of an impression on me for the vast majority of the time when I watch the films. And in Jim Broadbent's case, he was wasted on a terrible film anyway, so that's probably why. Maybe he got better served by the Deathly Hallows films. But regardless of my views on the films, I think The Cursed Child takes it for the worst bit of Harry Potter media ever. Now, I'm one of those people who likes Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace, so sue me. I like Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace. I would happily defend that film in many ways, but I can understand why a lot of Star Wars fans hate The Phantom Menace. But the people who felt an immense amount of hate for The Phantom Menace, that's basically how I feel about Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. It's a travesty to the Harry Potter series, and I did talk about this in the last part, and I don't know which way I'm going. I read The Cursed Child once, and once was enough for me. I absolutely detested it. Now, I'm sure, and this is something I didn't really get to elaborate on in the last part, so I'm going to here. That actually made me jump then. I'm sure Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is an amazing stage play. Don't get me wrong, I think if I went to see it live, which I would like to do if it's still going, in a couple of years' time. I would like to see it, and I think it would benefit from being seen in its intended format. However, the plot is awful. If The Goblet of Fire is your favourite Harry Potter book, which I don't blame you if it is, because for a lot of people that is the pinnacle of the series, it's not for me personally, but I can understand why people think it's the best one. If The Goblet of Fire is your favourite Harry Potter book, The Cursed Child just shits upon it completely. And oh, here's some new enemies. So these guys require 2 attacks, and they're done. I love how this game's given us so many house points here. But The Cursed Child literally shits on The Goblet of Fire in so many ways. Oh, you like the plot of The Goblet of Fire? Well, The Cursed Child is going to completely destroy your memories of that book in so many ways. And the whole time travel mechanic, I don't mind it in The Prisoner of Azkaban. A lot of people complain about how it's used in The Prisoner of Azkaban, the whole time turner thing, and how it's a bit of a plot hole as to why nobody's used it before to stop evil wizards. But it was fine in The Prisoner of Azkaban. Made complete sense. It made for one of the most interesting sequences in the entire Harry Potter series. In The Cursed Child, the time turners are used for an incredibly stupid reason. And it's mainly to butcher the entirety of the Goblet of Fire. And then there's loads of other reasons why I don't like The Cursed Child either. So a couple of them range from how Ron Weasley's treated in the script compared to everyone else. Now, Ron gets very underused in the later films. But, you know, I can sort of understand why. It still sucks and I hate it, but I can understand why that happened. But there's no excuse for it in The Cursed Child, unless if they were heavily influenced by how the films ended up. So there's that. And then you've also got the really stupid plot twist towards the end of the book. Now, if you haven't read Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, I apologise in advance, because I'm going to drop a massive spoiler on you. The villain of the Cursed Child, whose name I don't care to remember, it's probably something like Delphine. I think it's Delphine. She's revealed to be the daughter of Voldemort. You heard me correct. She's the daughter of Voldemort. And when I read that, my eyes literally rolled. I think I may have screamed at a book. And the book I screamed at in question was the Cursed Child book. And I think I slammed it a couple of times on the bed when I was reading it. Or the sofa, wherever I read the book. It was absolutely awful. It was incredibly bad. That plot twist should not have existed. As far as I was concerned... Oh, we got nice music playing. This is actually quite a nice sequence. Actually, I just realised, nearly Headless Nick is standing there. He could have just floated through the dark arts stuff and gone through the door anyway. How bizarre. Why have we got so many frogs? We might as well just collect them all. We like chocolate. We like eating chocolate. But when I read that plot twist in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, I felt so frustrated that I'd spent money buying the actual book. And the writers of that book and the stage play, plus J.K. Rowling, should be ashamed that it got released. I've read better fanfics for Harry Potter than I've read that book. The Cursed Child is nothing but not exaggerated. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is an authorised fanfic for me. It's legitimately awful in multiple ways. Now, if you like Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, fair enough, I can understand why. And I'm sure if I saw the stage play, I'd probably enjoy it immensely. Because I could probably just ignore the plot and focus on how good the actors and the actresses are, how good the production schedule, how good the production values are, how good the choreography is, all that kind of stuff. How good the set design is, how good the costumes are, all the stuff allocated to a stage play. But in terms of the actual storyline and the script, I refuse to accept it as canon. And it's something I wanted to elaborate on a little bit further, because I didn't really talk about it fully in the last part, so that's why I'm doing it here whilst we're doing random stuff. And these tables can make you dizzy. Can I get over? I've got all the stuff I need, which is good. So I think we're done with the dungeons, aren't we? I think we are. So yeah, my experience with the Harry Potter universe is quite divisive. I'm not unique in how I think, but I'm certainly not the major opinion of the Harry Potter books. I'm sure there are loads of people who disagree with me on how I view the Harry Potter universe. If you like the films, fair enough. I don't mind if you like the films. I just don't think they're that good after the third one. And I can't remember which way I'm supposed to go. Steam's flashing at me. I'm assuming that there's an update. I only just noticed. It's not flashing on screen, it's just flashing on my second monitor's taskbar. Right, do I jump down? I've literally forgotten which way I'm supposed to go. I think I'm just going to be running around until I find something. Okay, this looks promising. Or maybe not. No, that isn't promising. That is the opposite of promising. That's just backtracking. Okay, I literally have to go on these tables. And as I said in the previous part, I haven't seen the Fantastic Beasts films, nor do I intend to. I haven't read the book either. I probably should read the book at least. And I've never read Quidditch Through the Ages either. I'm surprised there's not a Quidditch film made, to be honest. I'm surprised Quidditch of the Ages hasn't been made either into a film. Probably will one day. Oh, I literally can't remember which way to go. I'm just going to assume it's this way. I've been recording this for quite a long time, actually. This part was quite long. Oh yeah, this looks promising. Despite what I said earlier, because the last time I said this looks promising, it was not promising at all. Yeah, okay, I need to jump back down. Oh, I'm going to lose health. Yep, okay. And then I'm just trying to think if there's anything else worth talking about. Can I mix another potion? No? Fine. I can't remember what Fred and George give me for getting all the green Bertie box. Every flavoured beans. Okay, that door's locked.
Well done, Harry. You've dispelled all 4 curses. Whoever put them there really wants to stop students exploring the castle. Oh my, look at the time. You've been down here for so long, the Transfiguration class is about to start.
Same day.
Don't be late. Professor McGonagall is head of Gryffindor House. You don't want to upset her. The Transfiguration class is situated in the upper castle. You can gain access to it from Gryffindor Tower.
And that's basically going to be the start of the next part. Or part 4 of this game, as I like to think about it in my head. Because I divide this game up into different acts. I'm not sure if that's how the developers intended it to be or not, but that's how I view it. So if you missed out on beans at any point, you can get some here. And we're done with the dungeons. I don't think there's any need to go back in there ever again. So the last thing I'm going to do is talk to Fred and George Weasley, get our reward, which I can't remember what it is. I think it's the most pointless reward in the game. And then... No, I'm going the wrong way. I don't want to go back in the castle. I need to... That's it, I need to go back in the other room. Just find Fred and George. I need to go to the portrait room. Okay, so it is easy to pass then if you forget. Ignore completely what I said at the very beginning of the video. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure what you get from Fred and George here is absolutely pointless.
Hey Harry, have you got those green every flavour beans? Huh, nice work. The password for the portrait is Wanglewort.
Wranglewort would be such a good name for a villain.
Wanglewort.
Well done, young man. You've got the password.
Are you a man
At
or...
least in here you'll be safe.
Are you a man or a woman? I can't tell. Considering that Fred and George just said Wranglewort, surely the portrait could have opened up for us in advance, but whatever. And are all these secret rooms decorated in Gryffindor paraphernalia? I swear it is. So yeah, here's our really pointless reward. Quidditch armour. Absolutely pointless. There is literally no need for it. Quidditch is easy enough. You don't need that at all. That should have been the first thing you got from the beginning of the game, not the Nimbus 2000, but whatever. So we're done for now. We've been recording for quite a long time. I've rambled quite a lot, but it's been a positive recording, I think. So I'm going to leave it there for now. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.